What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and today I'm going to be listing my upset of the year in boxing for 2021. And I know that it's been over 3 months since 2021 ended, and I know I really should have posted this video earlier, but with the school, sports, etc., I haven't really had the time to really make this particular video. But I really wanted to get my opinion across because there has been a lot of upsets in 2021, and I'm very excited to share some of the main ones that I thought were really honorable and some of or my pick for the upset of the year and some of my favorite upsets personally of 2021. So to get straight into the video, I'm going to be listing a lot of big upsets in boxing for 2021. I think there's like 20 picks here I have for some honorable mentions, and comment down below if I missed any. But these were some of the biggest upsets in 2021 for boxing. So starting off, and this is in no particular order. This is just how I have it listed on this list. One of the biggest upsets was Oscar Valdez dominating Miguel Berchelt. And I know that on the odds this might have been closer than most of these upsets on here, but just based off of the way that Valdez dominated and really destroyed Berchelt in this fight, it was really just a shock to many people. And a second upset, or another upset on this list, would be Julian Williams losing in his comeback fight, and it was a big shock to Vladimir Hernandez. And in my opinion, Hernandez rightfully won that fight, but it was a very competitive fight, but a huge upset nonetheless. Another big upset was Jarrett Hurd losing as well, and these are two guys, Williams and Hurd, who had big history as former unified champions, losing in their comeback fights as Arias, or big comeback fights in Arias. Did defeat Jarrett Hurd by split decision, although it really should have been a wide unanimous decision. And another huge upset of 2021 was Mauricio Lara absolutely destroying Josh Warrington. And Warrington came into the fight at a swift 30-0. Lara was the unknown Mexican fighter, and Lara just came in there and absolutely destroyed Warrington. Another huge upset of 2021 was Kiko Martinez absolutely destroying Kid Galahad with a beautiful overhand right to become the new IBF featherweight world champion. That was one of my favorite upsets personally. Kiko Martinez being the old past prime fighter, Kid Galahad being the newly crowned champion, and it really was just a fight that seemed like a stay busy fight for Kid Galahad, just a quick defense, but no, Kiko Martinez absolutely shut that out and knocked Galahad out cold after getting dominated for a couple rounds or so. Another big upset of 2021 was Mikey Garcia losing his comeback fight to Sandor Martin, and Martin fought a very excellent fight as a boxer and won rightfully in my opinion. Another big upset was Teofimo Lopez losing by split decision to George Kambosos Jr. in an all-out war. Another big upset was Gabriel Rosado absolutely stopping the hype train of Bektemir Melikuziev, knocking him out cold in the second round, or just knocking him out flat in his face. Melikuziev wasn't really out cold, but it looked like he was based on how he landed. And Melikuziev actually is going to be making a comeback this weekend. And another big fight, or big upset, was Yordenis Ugas defeating Manny Pacquiao. And I know it wasn't really the biggest upset when it really came to the odds, but many people, I didn't really see anyone picking Yordenis Ugas to win that fight, but he really, in my opinion, won clear against Manny Pacquiao, the all-time great. Another upset, although under the radar, it was James Martin's win over Vito Mielnicki Jr. He really dominated Mielnicki Jr., won that fight clear in my opinion, and that was Mielnicki's first loss, and it was a very big upset on Premier Boxing Champion stage. Another big upset on like PBC and Fox, it was Michael Coffey losing in his first main event brutally to Jonathan Rice in their first fight by fifth round knockout. And then later in the start of 2022, Jonathan Rice again beat Michael Coffey convincingly. Another pretty big upset, or solid upset, of 2021 was Alexander Usyk upsetting the odds in a match that really looked like David versus Goliath on the outside, being that he was the up and coming cruiserweight. Alexander Usyk was able to tame Anthony Joshua and outbox him easily. In my opinion, I thought he won 9-3, 117, 111. But yeah, I mean, Usyk won by unanimous decision and became the new unified heavyweight world champion. And another big upset, but it was very, very underrated. Many people did not watch this fight, but it was a 10-1 or 9-1 underdog in Cody Crowley, who got the victory over Kudratio Abdukakarov by unanimous decision. And Crowley really dominated in that fight. Aside from getting knocked down, he won every single round from there on. And another upset that many people might not call an upset, but this was a pretty big upset. It was Anderson Silva defeating Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. by split decision. And I know many people clown Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. for really just being a quitter or whatnot, but he is a boxer, and he lost to a middle-aged, past prime MMA fighter. So that was a pretty big upset there. And another big upset was Angel Fierro coming back after being dropped against Alberto Machado to stopping Machado on their Ring City USA card. A very, very big upset there. Very nice upset as well. And then another pretty big upset, and upset that got me shocked, was Muhammad Rasul Majidov losing to Andrei Fedosov by a brutal knockout in, I believe it was the first round actually. Might have been the second, but I'm pretty sure it was the first round. And Majidov got hit with a perfectly placed right hand over the top. His ankle snapped, but he was still on his way out because of how many times he went down. Yeah, I mean, he looked like he was out of there after that second knockdown, even though his ankle was snapped. It was a brutal shot. And another pretty big upset on a Ring City USA card was Sergey Boychuk losing for the first time in his career. Came into the fight with all knockouts, was supposed to have his coming out party against Brandon Adams that really would have solidified him as a top contender and got him out of that sort of prospect stage. But no, Brandon Adams absolutely put an end to that and knocked out Sergey Boychuk in one of my picks for a knockout of the month, and that was for March of 2021. Another very, very big upset. This was one of the bigger upsets. It was Kenshiro Teraji losing for the first time in his career and losing his title to Masamichi Yabuki. Yabuki came in as a huge underdog with a couple losses, not really many wins to his credit actually. He came in at like 12-3. I thought it was going to be an easy win for Teraji, but no, Yabuki stopped him later on in the fight. And another pretty big upset, although pretty underrated, was Giovanni Straffon brutally knocking out James Tennyson to win the IBO lightweight world title. And finally, although not really the biggest on the odds, one of the bigger upsets when it came to just really how it happened, it was Nonito Donaire absolutely dominating and destroying Yardino Bali, knocking him out to become the new WBC Bantamweight World Champion. And I think the odds were like 3-1, maybe 2-1 in favor of Ubali, but still it was classified as one of the bigger upsets, honestly. When I came to doing research on this video, this came up a lot as well, and it was also a pretty big surprise to me. I thought it was going to be a very competitive fight, but no, Donaire absolutely dominated. So that was really the list of some honorable mentions, and in there is my pick for the upset of the year. But I'm going to be listing maybe three of the biggest upsets aside from my pick. So 3 big honorable mentions for upset of the year that I was going to pick were definitely Kiko Martinez knocking out Kid Galahad, Mauricio Lara absolutely destroying Josh Warrington, and Sandor Martin defeating Mikey Garcia. There's also some other ones that were very, very big, but those are the 3 that I was really debating for me picking as the upset of the year. But now to pick my upset of the year, it is going to be Teofimo Lopez losing to George Kambosos Jr. by split decision, and I'm going to give some reasons why. So going into that fight, almost everybody thought that George Kambosos Jr. was a sort of middle-level fighter, wouldn't really get to the big stage, maybe lose in a world title fight dominantly or something like that, because he came off that pretty debated win over Lee Selby. It was a very close, I believe it was a split decision, and he came off before that a split decision win over Mickey Bay. So his resume wasn't looking too solid, although he did have that big victory. It was looking like he was sort of a top 15 level, top 12, top 10 level contender, somewhere around there that could beat those level guys. But no, I mean, against Teofimo Lopez, he proved that he's an excellent fighter, one of the best top 4, top 3 in the world. He was able to box, he was able to brawl. He dropped Teofimo Lopez for the first time in his career. He battled back from a knockdown himself, and they put up an excellent fight. But George Kambosos Jr. was able to get the nod on the judges' scorecards. It was a very close fight. I believe I scored it like 114, 113 for Kambosos. It was such a close fight. But, yeah, I mean, Kambosos Jr. came into the fight. Many people were picking him to absolutely get destroyed based off of Lopez's performance against Lomachenko, where he was able to beat him and really win a majority of those rounds, or even get a draw. It was really that type of fight. It was either a draw or Lopez, maybe even Lomachenko. But after rewatching the fight, it looked more in favor of Teofimo Lopez with his aggression. But yet again, more into this fight between Kambosos and Lopez. Lopez, I mean, yeah, in his fight against Kambosos, he was the man. He was the man who was being hyped up by Triller. And then once DAZN got the fight, it was broadcasted there. And yeah, everyone was picking Teofimo to win that fight dominantly, to knock out Kambosos, to make him look like he's an amateur, to really just prove that he's the best lightweight in the world after defeating Lomachenko. But no, George Kambosos Jr. boxed beautifully, as I mentioned before, and won by split decision. So comment down below your thoughts on my pick for upset of the year, and your pick as well for upset of the year, as well as some honorable mentions, and if I really missed anything on this list. So overall, my pick for upset of the year in boxing of 2021 is Teofimo Lopez losing his unified lightweight world titles to George Kambosos Jr. by split decision. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.